Hey guys, Veebat here with another V Plays, and we are taking out a premium tier 4 bomber known as the HE-111 H-2. And this aircraft is it's a premium. It is German and it is very iconic. This aircraft, a lot of people will recognize the lines and the shape of this airframe. And honestly, I really wanted this initially when I saw that it was coming out, but I didn't really realize that it was going to be a premium aircraft at tier 4. I thought it might have been higher, but you know, it makes sense in the timelines. So this video is actually coming to us as a result of Honnorgaurd. Honnorgaurd on YouTube and Shell Shocker in-game gifted me this aircraft. I did protest initially. I'm like, no, it's fine. I can do a review on the aircraft. I do have some gold in the hangar, but he gifted it anyways, and I do appreciate that because that means that frees those resources up for other reviews, possibly getting another premium or maybe advancing us through some more of the more challenging sections. That way I can get you reviews of new aircraft earlier. So onto the airframe, you can see here we're dropping, and it's dropping more in a carpet bomb type of fashion. Unfortunately, I thought I had dropped 2 sets here, but I only dropped 1. I figure it's also going to be a good opportunity to see how much damage it can do, and even with only a single drop of that 8 bombs, it was still able to nearly destroy the entire center portion of the mining plant. So that's pretty good. So this drops in sets of 8 50-kilogram bombs, opposed to dropping in sets of 4, which is what you get with the DO-17Z, which is the normal tier 4 bomber. And it's the only other tier 4 bomber in the game that's German, rather. There is a Russian bomber out there as well. So with the HE-111, this is a little bit of a diversion from what we've come to expect. You have an airframe that typically well, look how close this guy gets. The Germans sacrifice a lot of their hit points in order to get more speed, more precision bombing, and higher altitude performance, which allows them to be a little bit more strategic in the way that they play. But then you look at an aircraft like this and you see that it gets carpet bombing, it sacrifices a lot of its airspeed to get a lot more hit points. It's 300 more hit points than what you have with the DO-17Z. And then on top of that, you also have a lot of machine gun fire coming out of this thing. Right now, you can actually get the top and bottom gunner to fire on the target at the same time, which is roughly, it should be 64 damage if my math is playing out. It's 32 damage a second per gun. So if you got 2 of those, yeah, 64. That's pretty good for tier 4. There's a lot of aircraft have about half that for their forward firing capability, or even a little bit less than half. So this ends up being, or more than half rather. Yes. Anyways, my point is that this is going to be kind of that weird mix between your American Fortress bomber line and then your German high altitude. So we're still getting good altitude, but you can see the airspeed's a little bit slower than the DO-17Z, but we get this massive bomb load. With a little bit longer reload, it's only 10 seconds longer at base, but you're dropping double the amount of bombs the DO-17Z gets. The DO-17Z only drops 4 50-kilogram bombs per drop for a total of 4 drops, while this is getting the 8. On top of that, you initially get an open slot for the equipment for the external weapon mounts, or the munitions mount, if you would. So we actually put the bomb reticle sight on here, not necessarily for the accuracy, although it is nice to get a good tight spread on these, but it also increases the amount of damage per bomb, and we also get a slot for the consumable for the bombs, which allows you to be able to increase the damage even further. So here we are doing a nice clean run here. We're dropping a single drop there, double drop in the middle. I'm actually hitting the brakes a little bit, which is a tactic a lot of bombers use. And yeah, that second was a little bit late, but hopefully that'll finish it off. And then the last 8 on that last section. Now we're taking some hits here, but we're able to pick up grade 4 on our bomber here, and we're able to flip that sight pretty quickly. So this is a really good example of how this bomber behaves when it comes to the munition drop, because when you're dropping bombs in a bomber, it's almost like you're doing a little bit of a calculus based on past experiences. You're like, last time I went over a site like this, I was able to take out this type of a site with a single run as long as I went after these targets, and I did this many drops at each one of those sites. And kind of once you figure out that calculus and you get a few games under your belt and you learn your airframe, then you can get into the nuance of trying to get those guns on target in your defensive fire and angling the aircraft properly. But that is a lot of what I think a lot of bombers do when they first get into an airframe, is how many clicks of the space bar or the B button do I need to get these bombs out. Now I pretty much know that I'm done for here. We do have a player coming after us in that BF-110 Bravo, and that's fine. I probably could have climbed up to much higher altitudes and been really safe from all of these heavies, because at Tier 4 a lot of those aircraft struggle to get up to really high altitudes, and then we could just riddle them with holes with our 7.92 machine guns. But then we decrease our airspeed even more, and it will prevent us from getting to very key locations. An example of that would be, right now I'm heading for this garrison because that seems like a viable option, but then I note that they're already capturing the mining plant, and they actually have a player in a bomber as well as a player in a ground attacker. So I see there's a lot of aircraft over there, and it's all the ground attack aircraft, so it's just a matter of time before they capture the mining plant. Now, good news for us, our team was able to secure the victory based on the mining plant ticking over before they could finish capturing it, but those are the types of things you got to keep an eye on when you're flying bombers like this. Where do I need to go next, and how much time is it going to take me? Let's go back to the hangar and take a deeper look at this airframe. Alright, so a fairly solid battle, you know, despite kind of the negative trend that we saw in the chat, but this is gonna be kind of the German answer to, or counter I should say, to the Doe 17 and the other German bombers that are more like along the lines of a little bit higher altitude, a little bit higher speed. It allows them to be able to get to the zone a little bit quicker. But with this airframe, you're seeing a little bit more of that carpet bombing type of technique. The hit points, the speed, the firepower, it's kind of like a weird cross between the American fortress bombers and the German kind of high altitude, high speed bombers. So you're getting a fusion of the two with something that can operate as a bit of a tank. You saw that actually happen a couple of times with the heavies that were chasing us, but then also carrying a very robust bomb load. I mean, I do have both aircraft here, so we'll draw a comparison, but you're looking at an aircraft that has 32 bombs dropped in 4 sets of 8 for a total of 32 bombs, right? They're 50 kilograms, so a little over 100 pounds apiece, and the resupply time base is 60 seconds. Bear in mind that this number is actually inflated for the amount of damage. It's only 46,000, but we actually have rolled for increased bomb damage, and we're also carrying, oh, I should probably take this consumable off if I want to give you an accurate number. There you go, 42,000, but still 42,000 is a lot, especially when you compare it, let's reset you, when you compare it to the Doe 17, which at base is 24,000. So just something to bear in mind here, that yes, you are reloading a little bit faster and you're dropping in sets of 4, which is still good, but you may need to drop a double set on some of the heavier sites, while the HE-111 is going to be able to drop a single set and be able to take out most big structures. Like we saw in that mining plant, we were able to take out one of those sections that's heavily armored, not the center site, that took 2 drops, but we got pretty close with 1 to be able to knock out a lot of targets. And that's really where this kind of comes into its own, because at Tier 4 there are no other bombers. You have these 2 and that's it. So competing against each other, I'd say that it's really just a variation of playstyle. I've used the Doe 17Z to great effect, but it's also a lot faster. It allows it to be able to get to those sites it needs to get to that much quicker, and it reloads faster. While this aircraft, you might take a little bit of time to get there, but once you're there, you can do a lot of impact when it comes to the amount of damage that those bombs can do. So really, it's up to you, but I find it to be enjoyable, and as a premium aircraft, it's actually going to allow you to be able to earn some credits, and we didn't even look at that here, but yeah, we made 90,000 credits, and this is a pretty typical battle, getting about 9,000 personal points, and we were able to get to the top of the team. And with a map like that, that's very strategic, I feel like we were definitely a key player in that match. So again, I'm going to send a shout out. I mean, I wasn't able to do this review without somebody actually gifting the aircraft to me, and that came from Honnorgaurd is what his name is on YouTube, and he left it in the comments kind of asking me to do a review of this aircraft, and his in-game name is Shellshocker. So thank you again for gifting me the aircraft. I told you I had the gold to get it, but I do appreciate you getting it for me, because then that frees that gold up to possibly put into another aircraft or converting some experience and allowing us to be able to get to other reviews. So it all helps, and I do appreciate it. So thanks for the support, and again, thanks for the support from the rest of the community. I've been getting a lot of positive feedback and then constructive feedback as well, which is always helpful. So thanks again for that, for all you guys for really pushing me to try and make these better. And as always, guys, I will catch you on the next one.